Now, Tony's going for the twister pass. I still have him in my half guard on my lockdown. He's not going anywhere just yet, but he wants to get out of my guard. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push him up and away with both arms, kind of like a bench press. I'm gonna fire my left arm under his armpit and across his face, just like so. And I'm gonna set up an arm triangle from right here. Straighten out my lockdown, squeeze under the shoulder. Now we have a triangle. Tony is going for the twister pass. I still have my lockdown. So now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna push him away and I'm gonna fire my right arm under his armpit, like so, and pull his head back with my left hand. Shooting my right arm across, and I'm going for a darce from the bottom. Locking my legs down, freedom rock my right wrist, and it's done. Tony has half guard on me, locked down. I have head and arm on him, and I want to get out of here by going for the twister pass. So I'm gonna take my left arm out, push it against his throat if he's holding on to me, break his grip, take my left arm, elbow under his left armpit, and I'm gonna spin my body, just like that. From here, he still has the lockdown. I gotta pry to get out of here. I gotta fight for this. But instead, I'm just gonna take my right hand, and I'm gonna grab over his toes, not my own, his toes, and pull his leg towards me. It's cranking his calf, and it's also doing sort of like a toe hold heel hook. Okay, so now Tony has me in a triangle. I'm gonna create a little space to survive this. I'm gonna push my shoulder away from my neck as he's going for the triangle. Now, there's some breathing room here. I'm gonna look up at the ceiling as high as I can, grab his biceps, and step up 1 foot at a time as high as I can. Now from here, I'm just gonna sit back on my butt, put my legs over his chest. From here, the triangle's pretty much done. He's not gonna do it. What I'm gonna do is sit back, arch, and when I feel his feet come open, I'm gonna push his right leg away with my left hand. From here, I'm kicking my right foot under his knee right there. From here, very simply, from under his heel, scoot it back a little bit, push his heel towards his butt, sit up on my left arm, and there's a heel hook right there. This foot inside is preventing him from rolling away from me, which is what he'd want to do. Now we can't go anywhere. He's stuck, he's jammed. I tweak it up. So now I have Tony in this heel hook setup right here, but for him to get out, he's gonna push my foot away and try to get his knee out, and then he can roll up to his belly and get away from the heel hook. It's not gonna be as tight. So as soon as I feel that Tony's pushing the leg away, he's gonna get out, I'm just gonna sit out to the side like an omoplata, and we call this the Lego plata. Okay? You can also, from here, same thing, he's pushing out to get away. He's gonna roll out, so I'm just gonna grab a hold of him even and sit up on the side. Either one is gonna crank into his hip and his knee. So now I have Tony in mission control to New York. From here, I'm gonna set up the meat hook. So I'm taking my left arm over my shin under my ankle, pulling out my right arm, and sticking my left hand in his armpit, holding onto the chest meat, okay? From here, this is a meat hook, real good for MMA, because he's gonna be punching you. Jiu-jitsu is a little tougher to get in there. From here, I'm gonna grab his left arm with my right hand and start to push it in so that I can slide my left foot under his armpit and slide my left hand out, like so. From here, I now have him in the stock. Okay, so now that I have Tony in the stock, I'm gonna set up some moves. First one's gonna be a variation of the straight jacket. I'm gonna push him up a little bit, grab his hand, his left hand, and I'm gonna pull it across his face, and he's tapping. Okay? So again, have the stock set up, lift him up a little bit, and I'm gonna pull his arm across his face, and he's tapping. Grabbing his wrist, I'm gonna pull him towards me, but then I'm gonna put my right foot on my left heel. I'm gonna kick away with my legs and pull towards with my arms, getting the tap. Straight jacket. Still have Tony in the stock, pull him up, and I'm gonna push his arm, pull his elbow towards me, and push his wrist away, and he's tapping. Again, grab that elbow, pull it towards, and straighten my right arm out. In the stock, lifting him up, I'm gonna turn his arm with my left hand, his left arm, pull the elbow towards me, bring him back. Same thing. Here I got the stock, grab his wrist, pull his elbow towards me, straighten out his arm that way. His hand's going up towards the ceiling. Pull his wrist towards me and upwards. And pull his elbow towards me. Just like that. Okay, so now I got Tony locked up, still in stock. I'm just gonna pull his arm over the back of his head now and pull him towards me, cranking his shoulder. Again, pulling his arm over and back, cranking the shoulder. Grab his wrist, I'm gonna pull his arm up and towards me. It's behind his head. I can even extend my leg to make it worse on him. I straighten my leg out, it's gonna put a lot more pressure. So from here, holding him in the stock, and if I want, I can just leave the stock, kick my right leg out, and go straight to a triangle. Cable grip the head, hips up, he's done. Tony in the stock. Now I'm going to transfer out. I'm going to take my right leg, kick it out, take my left leg out from under his arm, pull my shin, cable grip, triangle. So now I have Tony in the stock again, obviously. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go after this arm now. I'm going to control his wrist with my right arm. I'm going to take my left hand, bring it to his right arm, bend his arm, and pull it up. Grabbing his left hand with my right wrist, keep him in control. I'm take my left arm, grab his right wrist, push it down, and up for a Kimura. Now from here, same thing. I'm gonna go for his right arm. I'm just gonna take it and pull it on my chest. Grab under his wrist with my left hand, and I'm doing an inverted armbar here, just putting pressure. That's simple. Push the elbow down with the right hand, and push up with the left. Inverted armbar. Hard to defend. Again, I'm gonna grab his arm at the wrist, I'm gonna pull it up towards me, and I'm gonna push down on the elbow with my right hand. So I'm pushing upwards with my left, down with my right, taking an inverted armbar. So I want to do an inverted armbar. I'm trying to pull Tony's arm, and he's fighting it. It's pretty tough. I'm going to hold his elbow in place with my right hand, slide my left hand over his hand and knuckles, and then push it back for a gooseneck wrist lock. So now I'm going to take Tony's right arm, and I'm going to put it actually on my chest and start to set in a deep left hook here. Rolling to my knees, And trying to stay on the side a little bit. Don't go all the way up. You can do a swim move from here, but let's just stay here because the arm's extended. From here, I'm just gonna bring my hips forward. I can go with my left arm and hug it. That's it. Go through a deep hook, slide it up to the wrist, bring my hips forward and down into his elbow. I'm gonna take Tony's right arm, I'm gonna push it up onto my chest, grab with my right arm, put a deep left hook, and start to roll towards my knees. Not fully on my knees, but more weight on my left knee. And then I'm gonna start to extend my hips forward and pull his arm towards me. So my hips coming forward into the elbow, his wrist comes towards me. From here, I'm gonna turn this into a sweep. I have the stock set up. I'm also gonna put my right foot under his left knee. I'm gonna roll him backwards just like this and get up on top. I'm putting my right foot under his left knee, and I'm gonna kick back and roll over my left shoulder. Just like that. Get up on top, keeping him in place. From here, I'm gonna grab his elbow. I'm gonna keep my weight down, and I'm gonna peel his elbow upwards, just like that. I'm rotating his elbow like that. Again, rotating it upwards. It's a monoplata variation. So I'm in mission control, and I'm gonna relax my right leg here, let it open up, fire my knee up to go to crackhead control. Big swing, feet across. From here, he's in crackhead, he's gonna start stacking into me, and I'm gonna take my left hand and put it right under his jawline onto his throat and straighten my left arm for the tap. Now, if he backs away from me, I have him in control with my legs and arm, so I'm gonna pull him back. And then I'm gonna straighten into him again, getting the tap. It's the gag reflex. We're in crackhead control. Tony's hiding his throat. He's tucking, he's turtling up his jaw, and he's driving into me. So I'm gonna take my fist, and I'm gonna drive the knuckles right into his cheekbone over there. I mean, rather into his jawbone. Start pushing hard, and the harder I push, he's gonna lift his head up. Oh, and he gives me access to his throat right there. And then we're into gag reflex. I'm gonna break Tony down, and I'm gonna put him in a collarless Ezekiel, no-gi Ezekiel, with a gag reflex variation. Sit up, reach my right arm deep over the back of his neck to keep him down. Set up like I'm doing a rear naked choke. Then I'm gonna take my fist and shove it into his jawline right there. As I push harder, he lifts his head up, it goes into the throat, squeezing tighter, pushing in, getting the tap. I'm gonna do a no-gi Ezekiel with a gag reflex variation on it. So I'm gonna take my left arm, put it deep behind his neck, nice and tight from the mount. I'm gonna come like a rear naked choke, and I'm gonna take my fist and push it into his jawline if he's protecting. The harder I push, the more likely he is to lift his head. When he lifts his head, it's gonna go right there into his throat. Right on this area. Push it in, and he taps. So push it in with your knuckles. So now I'm gonna give some real basic material on whipping up, on how to do it properly and more efficiently. From white belt to black belt, figure it out. When I'm here, I have my opponent locked down. I need to push the hip down. And what I do with my whip up is I bring my knees towards myself. I'm not straightening my legs, that doesn't get you anywhere. I'm bringing my knees towards myself, and then I'm swiveling my hip so I can get on my side. If I'm not on my side, I have no sweeps. Nothing's gonna happen. I have to get to my side. So again, I push his hip down, then I bend my knees up towards my chest, lifting him and swiveling. Tony, come in. So Tony in the lockdown. I'm pushing him away. I'm gonna use my left arm just a little bit to lift him, but I'm gonna use mostly legs. I'm not trying to bench press him. Okay, and then I'm gonna shrimp up under him. that easy. Instead of trying to bench press him and fight to get in there, push him down. Use your legs. Throw him over your right shoulder. This situation, he's going over my right shoulder. When I'm under him, I'm very crunched up and tight to his body, so he can't darce me or try to guillotine me. Now another variation of this is with my legs. This is the Forsaken variation. I'm gonna whip my legs up and circle to the outside and back around. So if you're watching my legs, I'm whipping and I'm turning like that. Left and side. Left and side. So basically my legs, instead of coming up and over, which is what I like to do, now you're gonna come up and swing around in a circle. Brings you to the same place. Either one works. Immediately, I'm gonna shoot my left leg up. Easily. Look how easy that was for me to do. There's a big difference, right? If you're flat on your back, this is about it for me. On my side, this is it for me. It's a huge difference in flexibility. It'll help your rubber guard game a lot. Tony's already broken down, and I want to bring him into mission control so I can do all kinds of rubber guard variations. Instead of just being flat on my back and kicking my leg up like this, where I'm not as flexible, what's going to make it a lot easier is if I put my right foot on the hip, left foot on the floor, and hip escape to my left. Just like that. Now, when I do this, my foot's going to come up nice and high with ease. No problem. I didn't have to pull it up, it went up on its own. If I'm flat on my back, I can do it, but it takes a fight. I got there. If I'm on my side, it kicks right up. I can kick it up to here. Much easier.